Working as a security guard had always been a solitary and, at times, monotonous job. I would spend my nights patrolling the dimly lit, cavernous halls of the abandoned Greystone Asylum. The place had been closed for decades, but the sinister tales and mysterious disappearances associated with it still cast an eerie shadow. One particularly cold and desolate night, as I made my rounds, the building seemed to exude a palpable sense of foreboding. My footsteps echoed eerily, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I had always been skeptical of the ghost stories my fellow guards shared, but on that night, I felt the weight of unexplainable dread. As I descended into the lower levels of the asylum, the temperature dropped dramatically, and the flickering overhead lights cast disorienting shadows. A distant, haunting wail echoed through the corridor, chilling me to the bone. I told myself it was just the wind, but my heart raced nonetheless. That's when I saw her. A spectral figure, draped in a tattered hospital gown, glided down the corridor ahead of me. She seemed to drift effortlessly, her feet never touching the ground. Her long, raven black hair obscured most of her face, and she was bathed in an eerie, pale light. I blinked in disbelief, thinking my tired eyes were playing tricks on me. But when I opened them again, she was closer. She turned her head, her milky, unseeing eyes locking onto mine. A dreadful chill ran down my spine, and I tried to retreat, but my legs felt like lead. The woman in the hospital gown extended a bony hand towards me, her fingers skeletal and elongated. Her lips moved, forming words, but there was no sound, only a dreadful, guttural silence. She was a mere foot away when I felt her icy fingers brush against my skin. That's when I blacked out. I woke hours later, disoriented and freezing on the asylum's basement floor. The woman in the hospital gown was gone, and I couldn't help but wonder if it had all been a nightmare. But the sensation of her touch, the frigid cold that still clung to my skin, was all too real. I stumbled out of the basement, my heart pounding, and made my way to the security station to check the surveillance footage. I hoped to find some rational explanation, but what I saw sent shivers down my spine. The cameras had recorded the whole incident. The spectral woman, her empty eyes, and her unnaturally long fingers reaching out for me. It was all there. Undeniable proof that something supernatural had occurred. As I continued to review the footage, I noticed that the date and time stamp had mysteriously disappeared, replaced by a string of indecipherable symbols. The cameras had captured the woman, but the technology seemed unable to comprehend the paranormal. That night changed me. I was no longer the skeptical security guard I had once been. I had encountered something beyond explanation, something that defied the laws of the physical world. From that point on, I couldn't shake the feeling that the asylum, and the ghostly inhabitants it housed, had marked me as their own. My life as a security guard would never be the same, as I grappled with the horrifying reality that lurked within the abandoned Greystone Asylum.